You're watching Fantasy Studs and Suds, only on Fantasy Now Plus.
We're not watching Fantasy Studs and Duds. We're watching the flagship show here at Fantasy Now Plus. This is a Monday, June 16th, 2025. And today we will be doing a live Scott Fishbowl 15 mock draft. I am pick 11. I'm excited for it. I wish I didn't pick 11 back in the day, knowing the scoring settings now, but that's the fun of Scott Fishbowl. So we'll be doing the Scott Fishbowl mock draft. We do have 10 other users active and ready to go. Justin, of course, is in the background waiting for me to get him in here. So let's not waste any more time. Let's not waste your time. Let's get right into the mock draft. Justin, let's start the show.
You're watching the Fantasy Recap, only on Fantasy Now Plus.
You know, one day we're going to get this right.
I'm the worst. I'm the absolute worst. I had everything else prepped and I forgot to take out the intro. Oh, that was great. Live.
Yeah, we're live. We're live, pal. Speaking about live, we told everyone in the sleeper chat that we will be starting the draft at 12:05. So we do want everyone active. And if you're watching the draft live, please let us know in the chat because we do want to know who's watching. And I don't want to roast your picks if you're watching. That's the truth. That's the truth. No, for real life. Thank you for everyone to join our Scott Fishbowl mock draft. Scott Fishbowl is a great time of the year. I've been invited 4 times now, and I've been thankful every single time. Every time I get the email, I'm really shocked. Like, still shocked that I get this email. So I cannot wait to get into this mock draft, Justin. And I want to tell everyone, I know that I am the outlier. I do zero prep. I do zero preparation. I usually don't look at the scoring. I usually just go into it and draft best player available, and I suck every year. So maybe this year I'll change my ways, and maybe I'll start doing some mock drafts, and that's why we're here today, Justin. So do you want to pull that bad boy up?
Yep. Here we go. You ready for it? And we are going to start right about now.
Oh, we started. And the new rule on the show is, they're 10-second timers, by the way, to let everyone know. And the new rule is we're not allowed to have phones on the desk, but I don't care, Sean. I'm drafting from my phone, buddy. That's a beautiful thing about Sleeper. So are you shocked off the bat we're getting Josh Allen, Bijan Robinson 1-2? I thought Brock Bowers was 100% 101.
You know, I thought so too. To be honest, I need to actually sort out my stuff, man. I created these sheets and stuff, and then I forgot to sort anything out. So this is great. And we already have an auto pick with Jamar Chase as well. So,
well, we're gonna get. They're 10-second timers. We're trying to do
this
for
of course.
But we have one person in our actual live chat asking where the podcast is. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy that and put it in there so they can follow along if they choose so. And I'm glad that I actually checked because that shows that we are live. Unlike last week,
it does.
We were not live, where we had the greatest podcast of all time.
Oh, that sucked.
So Justin Jefferson, you just picked him.
Yeah.
Is it because Trey McBride and Brock Bowers were gone?
Yeah, exactly. Both Trey McBride and Brock Bowers were gone, so I had to go with the next best guy. I mean, so something that people need to, I think, realize this year is that the way they are doing the lineups, there was a question in the chat about why can't we sort by position? It's because there is no QB position, there's no running back, there's no wide receiver or tight end positions. It's all flex, and then you have 2 super flex positions. So in theory, you don't technically have to have a quarterback this year.
That is so wild.
In theory, you don't have to.
I don't understand. I know, but I don't understand league. I know a lot of leagues are going that way, and I can't wrap my head around it. I believe we're in a charity league right now where we don't have to start a quarterback. And I'm like, you got to be the dumbest. Like, not dumb. I'm sorry. I apologize. But you can't not go in with a quarterback. Anyone you start in that super flex or that flex format where you can't put a quarterback in is never going to outproduce even the 32nd best quarterback in the league. So I don't suggest that strategy, especially in this league, which is such a deep roster and so many smart people playing. Denver Live Thursday. Yeah, where's everybody drafting at? I'm in Orlando. this year. I've been in Orlando since the inception of the Orlando live drafts. Pretty excited for it.
It's pretty cool. I'm
never-
in Cincinnati this year. Again,
Cincinnati again.
Second time for Cincinnati for me.
And it does. You have to set up a third round reversal. All right. And if you're new to Scott Fishbowl, there is a third round reversal, which some people do not like. Some people like a lot. That's why I picked 11. To be honest with you, I've always picked super early in all my Scott Fishbowl drafts. Always like 1, 2, or 3. Has always been my spots.
I've never been higher than 7. But I've picked anywhere between, I think 7, 11, and now 8 is where I like the back of the draft, I think.
Oh, they're doing a live Cincy podcast going for 2. Are you going to be on that podcast, Justin?
They are. I will be on that as well throughout the draft. So, or at some point during the draft. So that is something that I will be on this weekend on Sunday.
What do you think about my strat so far? 3 running backs in a row.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I like Saquon. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know if I would have went Bucky Irving, but it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
I think people forget how good Bucky was last year, and I think that people are going to be.
Bucky is good. You're not wrong. Just based off of stat projections this year with SFB scoring, Bucky Irving is currently sitting at RB 12 stat wise if projections roll out. So I mean, you got him probably a little early, but
I mean, he was running back 11 off the board, Justin. So I mean, Breece Hall. I was looking at Breece Hall as well, by the way. So Breece or Bucky were my 2 picks. People are so down on. Oh man, we got pick 2 is copying my strategy. I don't appreciate that.
He is. He's taking all the other running backs that you're not taking. So
I really don't appreciate that.
Dave does not look. Dave doesn't seem happy that he is getting auto picked. He doesn't like that 10-second draft. But hey, this is flying. This is absolutely flying right now. What do you think about mine? 2 wide receivers and then 2 quarterbacks. I got
on the clock right
now.
I'm on the clock right now, Justin. Yeah. So
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. So JJ, Brian Thomas, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, you're definitely going all in on that 2 quarterback because you can start 2 quarterbacks, right? Or can you only start 1?
You can start 2 quarterbacks, yes.
So that's very smart for you to do. So I almost took a quarterback here, but I'm kind of like putting the pressure on other people to draft their running backs, as you can tell. I want to say this. When I go to any Scott Fishbowl live draft, I am totally in for having fun. As in, if there's a run, like 1 year, I drafted every single Cowboy I could. Every Cowboy. From pick 1 to 7. Like, you know what? I'm going to do it. This year, I'm deciding right now to pick every running back possible. And I don't know why. I just like to have fun, guys. That's all what it's about. Live drafts or just Scott Fishbowl in general is about having fun, linking up, meeting people, making friendships.
You see Sean's comment over here telling you.
Yeah, I see his comment. Yeah. Don't be jealous because I'm grabbing all the
pack finally stopped, but yeah. No, this is going to be an interesting year, especially with tight end. Wide receivers and tight ends are getting a lot of points this year. If you haven't looked at the scoring is absolutely crazy. I'm on the clock. Hold on.
It's also fun to be competitive. Yes, I see that, Luke, in the chat. I understand that. I really, really do. And I'm usually not competitive in these drafts. So don't follow what I'm doing. But I'm about to grab my first quarterback. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I got faith.
So the interesting thing about the scoring here this year is that all receptions are 2.5 points, and then tight ends get an additional 1 point. So 3.5 points for reception. That's crazy. It's crazy.
People are gonna. So yes, not picking Aaron Rodgers yet, Chris. Rodgers will be later. Don't worry about that. See, know your leagues, man. People don't like Aaron Rodgers, so I can draft him as late as I possibly want. But what was back to competitiveness? Yes, it is fun to be competitive and saying I won Scott Fishbowl. But to me, the way I look at it, I was actually just looking. There's a freaking gnat right here. I was looking at my photos today, my camera roll for some reason. And I came across last year's Scott Fishbowl. draft, like the pictures we took and the people we see. I see them once a year only, ever. I speak to them once a year only, ever, which is bad. I'm really bad at that. But every year we link up, we sit at the same table, we have the same conversations, we talk about last year, we talk about can't wait to see you next year. And to me, that's what this is about: raising money for charity.
I got double sniped.
Yeah, you got double sniped.
That hurts. So far, okay. So you now have 2 quarterbacks. That's nice. I have 3 quarterbacks. I panic pick J.J. McCarthy. Pair him up with Justin Jefferson. Hopefully, I just also I have Colston Loveland and DJ Moore with Caleb Williams. This is going to be probably either a really good year for me or a really bad year based off of my draft so far.
Oh, I got auto picked.
Oh, why'd you get auto? You gotta take out. There you go. You wasted.
Because I'll tell you why I got auto picked. I'm too busy talking, and then on top of that, I exited out of the sleeper app, and I'm so old I have no idea how sleeper works. Sometimes I prefer MFL, so I could not find the mock draft. I'm glad that I was able to find it real quick. Jonnu Smith, man, people are sleeping on this guy. If he stays with the Miami Dolphins, he was Tua's like favorite target the last 6, 7, 8 games. I think Jonnu Smith is really, really underdrafted here. I would have taken him over Loveland, Warren, possibly Andrews as well.
I did want to. I was between Jonnu and Colston Loveland, and I ended up going Colston Loveland just because I don't roster him, and I don't want to be the Jonnu Smith guy all the time. So,
by the way, I would have not taken. Actually, I would have not taken Jordan Addison there. Just want to, for let the record state, whenever we go back and look at this, when we never do, I would have never taken Jordan Addison there. Just want to put that out there. Can we fix that, Kamish?
No. You want Stephon Diggs instead?
I mean,
dang, I got sniped again.
Who's drafting right before you? Do they know you? Do they know who you are?
No, because I was about to take Njoku also.
Oh, really?
That hurts. He's got 4 tight ends, which is honestly really smart. This might be the year I go tight ends all day.
I mean, we're in a situation.
I might take 3 or 4 tight ends. Oh, Jamie. Okay, so you're in front of me at the 107, sniping me all day. Okay, Jamie, thanks.
And I just want to let this record state, Sean, I know you're watching. I would never take Juwan Jennings at that situation. I got auto drafted again, guys. I'm terrible, but I'm not a good decision maker. I don't know. So this leads into what I wanted to talk about. I'm not a good decision maker. So at Scott Fishbowl, every single year we have a coin. We have a coin with our group, and we always lead it to 2 players that we're going to take. And we always flip a coin, and wherever that coin lands, we go heads, Jaden Reed, tails, Juwan Jennings. That's how our table makes picks, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. Orlando live draft. If you're in the Miami Dolphins division, which I'm in, I'm going to be having a coin flip make my picks most of the time. What do you feel about that? How do you feel about that, Justin? Do you think that,
I mean, it's fun. That's exciting. It probably doesn't get you far in the playoffs, but it is definitely fun and exciting. Last year, I had a draft where I told people if they bought me a beer, they could pick my next pick. And our friend Jeff said he was going to pay my entire bar tab if I drafted Sky Moore in the 3rd round, and I did not take him up on it.
I would have 1,000%. Are you kidding me? Wait, aren't you in the live draft with the open bar this year though?
No, that is Chicago. I think we have food in Cincinnati.
Nice. Lucky.
But yeah, Chicago is an open bar, which is crazy.
Did you guys? So we're in Orlando, of course, like I said, and Zach is over there. He wrote that book about with the cocktails, all that fun stuff. I don't know who to pick. Last year they had
Time's
2
up.
of his,
and auto picked again.
I would have not taken Isaiah Likely. And now I'm out of the draft. I'm sorry, guys. Yes. Anyway, Zach had 2 of his drinks featured at the bar we were at, so we were able to order his drinks, and the bartenders were making it. It was pretty cool. I believe he had a spicy drink
again.
Yeah, I know. I can't find the draft anymore. Sleeper needs to
It's
fix
awful
this,
for you.
man. This isn't a this is not
If
going
you're
to be
in the
a
middle of like if a draft is live, there should just be a how do I get back in here? It looks like Chris also got auto picked as well, so we'll see what happens here. But yeah, it's Cincinnati. There's gonna be food and fouling, like Bill said here, which is cool. I don't know if you've done fouling or not, but each division has their own like time slot. So like the entire division will take a break from their draft and go foul, which will be fun.
well, explain that again. Slower.
So each division will have a time slot to go
Okay.
foul, which is football bowling. We're at a fouling yard. So one by
Oh,
one.
I've never heard of that in my life.
I've heard of it, but I didn't know it was called fouling.
Is that
Which
what you
is
Northerners do?
I I've never
Hold on, I'm
been.
getting back in
That'll be
I'm
fun.
getting back in the draft. I'm getting back in the draft. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Foaling. It's pronounced like bowling.
Oh,
Foaling.
so you
I
throw
missed
the
that.
football
Yep. Yes.
at pins.
At pins, and you knock them over.
I'd be pretty terrible at that. If you know me at all, but you don't, I can throw a football maybe 5 yards. Maybe. If I'm lucky. My shoulder's shot. We used to play softball with Dirtbag Dave, and I was the catcher because I was the worst person on the team. I couldn't even throw the ball back to the pitcher. I was terrible. I can't throw. I can catch. I can do anything else. It's just throwing with this shoulder. I think because I bowled for all my life. I think my
Oh
shoulder
yeah,
got shot.
it's the wrong movement. I occasionally will play goalie in soccer, and um, you got to be able to throw as well. So I got that shoulder motion, but it's like a weirder ball. It's awkward to throw.
So we're down in the later rounds, of course, round 16. These are where we draft at home because at the Scott Fish Bowl live draft, we're only allowed to draft till round 10.
10 rounds.
Which is good because it still takes 3 hours. You got to think there's people
Yeah.
talking and things going on. So definitely something different here because whenever we're home after these are the harder picks to take. And these are finally like they help you win Scott Fish Bowl because these are
Well,
where you
yeah,
find the sleepers.
hours to overthink yourself and oh well, this guy make an impact. Well, and sometimes it is a coin flip. It's like, well, I really believe in this guy over this one, and that makes it tough here. So, Josh, what do you think about my one running back strategy, which I wouldn't have even taken a running back had I actually remembered that I didn't need to take a running back?
Well, I feel like in this kind of draft, you have to overcommit to something. So if you're gonna go all in on a position, you have to go all in. And that's kind of what happens. Trust me, guys, in our Scott Fish Bowl live drafts or drafts through, slow drafts, you'll see some interesting things. You'll see somebody go 4 tight ends in a row because they're getting such a huge boost. So I don't mind that. If you don't have to start at running back and you're this late into it, what's the point? Start grabbing more positions that you feel like are more valuable.
Yeah, and tight end positions are definitely the one of the most valuable positions this year. If we're looking at projections this year, Brock Bowers is expected to make 507 points this year, which is absolutely insane. And once I make my pick here, if we want to compare that to the quarterback position or the wide receiver position, only Jamar Chase is projected to outscore that with 529. The next one is CeeDee Lamb at 491. So Brock Bowers would be wide receiver number 2. Trey McBride would be wide receiver number 3, if all things considered there. So it's absolutely insane. You want to talk about running backs here. It's my pick again. Bijan Robinson is projected to score 537 points, which would put him at the top position, the top player in all of fantasy football. In
Bijan
Scott
Robinson?
Fish Bowl. And Bijan Robinson went 2 overall, so that does make sense. Saquon Barkley is projected 526 points, which again is more than Brock Bowers and just under Jamar Chase by 3 points. And you got him at the 111. So, I mean, two of the top 3 players are running backs.
By the way, I know Dirtbag Dave picking at 105 is probably fuming right now because he's been on auto draft since probably what
Flacco
he's
and
drafted.
Rattler.
I mean, but at this point, who else? I mean, I'm looking at the picks. I'm going, man, there ain't nobody left. So, is it smart in a deep draft where you cannot trade and waiver wires are very slim? Is it smart to start grabbing your backups? Let's say, for example, I have Trevor Lawrence. Would it be smart for me to grab the backup quarterback? Would you actually tell people or advise people, hey, man, this backup quarterback's going to give you more value because just in case they go down? We draft so early.
I would definitely consider a quarterback that doesn't always play every game. So, I mean, like Dak Prescott could be an example of somebody that you might go get their backup. Or if you have Anthony Richardson, go get Daniel Jones also, maybe even get Riley Leonard. So I don't necessarily.
I'm so glad that I only have one more pick left. Like I'm
just defaulting to the top tight end on the board if I can't find somebody quick enough this year.
That's smart too. I was just going through players I actually think will do good, like Will Disley. I think he's a sneaky kind of like he'll give you some weeks, but not a lot of good weeks. They didn't replace him in the tight end position over there in LA, did they? I don't think they did. Raphael, what's going on, Raphael? My guy, my dude. Raphael, were you there for the NWO show on Saturday night? Man, what a fun show. If you guys like professional wrestling, we do a professional wrestling podcast too. We just read a NWO book and reviewed it. We had the author on backstage. He couldn't get on live because he couldn't hear us. 45 minutes of that troubleshooting. But no holds barred here on Finn's Talk Sports Network. If you're into pro wrestling, of course. Last pick of the draft. So there's no kickers this year, huh? We're not doing kickers in Scott Fishbowl. Is this the first year ever?
Yeah, I think so.
First year in a while. Yeah. I'm okay with that. You know how I feel about kickers.
Yeah, it's definitely no kickers. And I think that was because I asked the same question. I think it was because Sleeper wouldn't allow super flex or for kickers to be put in the flex. So they didn't think it was fair or whatever. So they took them out. Okay, so couple of questions here. Where did Tet get drafted? That is a great question. It looks like 507.
Yes, all right, so now we can actually look at the draft and see what we actually like and what we don't like. Obviously, people are not going to like my team, and I don't even like my team, but I think I had potential until I got auto drafted. You know, not a lot of superstars. I have Saquon Barkley and Jahmyr Gibbs, but after that, I don't really feel like I have anyone that really stands out. Even at the quarterback position, Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott. I'm hoping Dak can stay healthy. Crossing my fingers. Trevor Lawrence, I'm hoping he can get back on track with the new offensive system over there, adding Travis Hunter, keeping Brian Thomas Jr. or acquiring him last year. So I have a lot of hope and prayer on my side of the ball. Oh, I'm going 2 rookie running backs, Hampton and Henderson. I don't know, man. Not really liking my team, but hey, this is a typical Josh Kimmel, Scott Fishbowl team.
I do like Barkley and Gibbs. Like I said, you got 2 of the top 3 running backs projected. Both are projected to score over 500 points this year in fantasy, and you got them at the turn. Like that's insane. And I cannot harp about this enough. There are currently with projections that, Fantasy Pros, CBS, ESPN, all of that. I compiled all that data, averaged them out. That's how I'm getting these numbers. Only 1, 2, 5 players in all of fantasy football are projected to score over 500 points in Scott Fishbowl. 3 of them being running backs, and you have 2 of them. So,
right on, guys.
I don't think that for you. My team here, I do kind of like this. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra. Nope, I went Brian Thomas, not Amon-Ra. I thought I went Amon-Ra. It could be better. I'm not gonna lie. But Nix, Williams, McCarthy. I did take Jameis Winston there at the end of the draft, just because you never know if New York will switch quarterbacks during the season and how many times he will get there. So What else? I took a ton of tight ends. Again. If you look at the scoring or at the positionals or positions, there is no quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. It's all flex positions and then 2 super flex. So you can start as many tight ends as you want. And the fact that they are scoring 3.5 points per reception, I'll take that.
It's huge. Jamie says they got a portable studio up there in Cincinnati for the podcast. Yo, Zach, if you're watching.
That's actually really cool. I was wondering about that because I was thinking about it. Oh, do I need my AirPods? Do I need to have like broadcasters?
Let's go to 107.
107.
Yeah, let's get there. So Jaden Daniels, Mahomes, 2 quarterbacks off the rip. Puka Nacua, PPR machine. He really went tight end heavy as well. I love the middle right there. Andrews, Ingram, and Njoku. If Ingram can get back on track, we know what kind of target he can be for sure, no doubt. And George Kittle, sneaky last year. People forget how good he was because they saw Bowers with these huge numbers. Kittle averaged more points per game last year than Bowers. People forget. So I like Kittle there as well. Solid team. Like weird seeing. Go ahead.
The only thing I will say about Kittle is that while he gets a ton of yards and a lot of touchdowns and stuff, he doesn't necessarily get as many receptions as the other big time quarterback like Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, which obviously were both gone in the first round. But Kittle doesn't get as many receptions, which in this year specifically is like going to be a huge thing. You want to go for the most targets, the most receptions on the tight end position. But again, you picked him at tight end 4. He's projected tight end 3. So it's not terrible. So I don't hate that. But yeah, I should have picked Ingram instead of Brian Robinson.
But people bring up vacated targets like it's every single time, no matter what. Debo's gone now. So they didn't really add anyone that I know. You know, Sean, our buddy, our pal, our best friend, our BFF. I know you're watching. He thinks Jawan Jennings is going to be the next Randy Moss over there, but I don't see it happening. There's got to be a situation where Kittle does get a boost in targets because they lost Deebo Samuel. I just don't see Jawan Jennings being that solid all season long. And again, I could be totally wrong, but when it comes down to who is your alpha, CMC Kittle. That's it. CMC Kittle. Those are your alphas. And then Ayuk's there. I'm not going to call him an alpha. And then the rest of the guys are just guys. Persall, Jawan Jennings are just guys to me. So I really like Kittle, and I think he's going to get an increased target share.
I do too. Jamie Andrews targeting tight ends who are be the second targets on their team, which is good. Andrews, yes. We killed Andrews at the start of the season last year, and then he came back and said, nope. So the only thing here that I see about this team is that once you get past Andrews, Ingram, Njoku, you start looking at Michael Pittman, Jaden Higgins, Cedric Tillman. Like you're starting to get guys that aren't. I mean, Pittman does get the targets, but who's throwing him the ball this year? Higgins is one of 3 rookies, I think, in Houston at the wide receiver position, so that could go any way possible. Then you got running backs that don't necessarily see the field much.
That's everybody. You're just highlighting this team, though. That's everybody. Look at anyone's team. Highlight the next person. You're going to see where Ray Davis is picked. You know, else would he take?
I'm just saying, when you're looking at this range, you don't have a ton of like reception. I mean, you have Flowers, Andrews, like you do have some receptions, guys. That's true. I mean, look at mine.
I will say this. This about that team. Stacked Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, the top 2 targets there. You're going to be fighting for targets when they get into the red zone. I'm not a big fan of rostering 2 people on the same team, but again, it's all for fun. I do want to highlight the other team. In 10 seconds a pick, of course.
Yeah.
I do want to look at the other team that copied me and took 4 running backs. Because I want to see how they did compared to me, to be honest with you. Justin Fields, the first quarterback. It's a mistake. But it is what it is. I like Tyreek Hill in the 5th round. People are sleeping on this guy. He's still Tyreek Hill. We can't expect Tua to be hurt the entire season. Or as my buddy Raphael calls him, telegraph Tua, which is not cool, Raphael. He went a lot of running backs, though. What do you think about his running backs? He went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 running backs.
I mean, okay, so from the top, he got RB1, RB4, RB8, and
And this is going by your projections, right?
by the project. Let's make sure. Yeah, by those projections. So he got 4 top 12 running backs in the league, based off the projections this year, assuming nobody gets hurt and all that stuff. So I don't hate it. I mean, it's not the worst.
No,
I do like that strategy at the start. If I feel like this is definitely going to be a year of you lean into a position for a while. Until
what's going to happen is what did happen. The later picks, because everyone's going to be taking tight ends. And I think the later picks are going to really, really, really capitalize on taking the Saquon Barkleys and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, Bijan might go early too, but I truly believe that these quarterbacks, I think we're going to see more quarterbacks in the first round in real drafts than we did here. I truly believe that because people still get quarterback hungry early.
As far as that question, if yes and no, but that's also another reason to draft running backs, I guess, too, is to fill for those injuries. But you want to be drafting handcuffs rather than just picking random guys. Now, if you're looking at those two teams, the two teams that drafted 4 running backs off the bat, those are guys that are probably not going to be missing time. And really the only 2 I would say in that group of 8 that are in a committee would be Bucky Irving currently, and that's still questionable, and then Amarian Hampton until he takes over the role from Najee Harris permanently. But Gibbs has Montgomery, but Gibbs also has proven that regardless if Montgomery's in or out, he's still very effective. Saquon is the running back in Philly. Bijan, Achane, Kyron, Brees, those are all guys that are going to be leading that team.
But I do like if you do go, like, trust me, I am worried about running back health, and I've always been worried about running back health. I usually neglect the running back position. I'm not zero running back guy, but I usually do pick them up later. I like getting the guys later on. Like I took ETN, who could get a spot there in Carolina if Chuba Hubbard goes down. I picked, Estamine just because you don't know. You don't know what RJ Harvey's going to do. They've been talking this. Is that who it is? Yeah. They've been talking this guy up. People have been talking this guy up. I like to grab these guys at the very end that could get a role instead of Miles Sanders. And no disrespect to the person who drafted Miles Sanders or Miles Sanders himself, but we know his time is done. So that's to me a wasted of a pick. But with this deep of a draft, you're going to have wasted picks. You just are.
Did you notice I got Roshan Johnson at a great value? Some idiot took him at 107 2 years ago. I'm that idiot.
Listen, man, Jamie, that's what it's about.
I took Justin Fields at 107 2 years ago. So
I took Travis Kelce 101 the year he decided to not be good. The first year ever, he decided not to be good. So, I mean, we all make those mistakes. Raphael, I know what you're doing.
No, you're league.
I know what you're doing, Raphael, with the Rodgers talk.
Drafted?
Listen, he should have got drafted. I'm sure he did. We all know I'm a Rodgers lover here. We all know that I think Rodgers is going to be really, really good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. For fantasy, I don't think so. I'm not going to touch him in fantasy this year. I know that people are, trust me, I'm in drafts and I'm in auctions where people are throwing out Rodgers or I'm going to draft before you do. Go ahead. Go for it. My love for Rodgers is strictly for regular season in the Pittsburgh Steelers and their seasonal outcome. I'm not touching Aaron Rodgers in any fantasy format whatsoever, but I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a lot better than any of you think. And I think the hate on Aaron Rodgers has gone too far. And I know I talk about this every single week, and I will until you guys stop bringing it up. I love you, Raphael. Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT. Kick rocks if you don't think so. I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
Do you want to talk about any news before we sign out?
Yeah, I do want to talk some news before we sign out. And I want to thank every single one of you people who watched us and mock drafted with us. It was very, very, very fast. Start Rodgers versus the Browns. Yeah, you could. But I think you're going to have a better option no matter what. There's 32 quarterbacks in the league, and there's only 12 teams. in a regular league. And if we're talking single quarterback, Rodgers will never sniff your lineup, or he shouldn't. He shouldn't. What's the news?
Oh, we got a lot. So I'm gonna try to run through this as quickly as possible, and then maybe every couple you can ask questions. Anthony Richardson is with nope, sorry. There's already new news to that one, so I'm gonna skip that one. Josh Towns returns to practice at minicamp. Michael Pittman Jr. also returns to practice at minicamp.
Hold on, let me just Josh Downs.
Oh my god.
What's going on with Anthony Richardson? What's the new one?
Well, I will get there. There's new news as of today. So, gosh. Kenneth Walker was limited in minicamp due to an ankle injury. Ricky Pearsall will be back with a hamstring injury for minicamp. Luther Burden has that soft tissue issue. Yeah, he's expected to be ready for training camp, which is great. And so is Juwan Jennings with his ankle injury. Calvin Austin was labeled as the Steelers wide receiver too.
It's June.
Not really news. Let's go up further to more important people. Brandon Ayuk could start the season on the PUP list, which I think is exactly what we expected after that torn ACL and MCL last season. So that's something. All you Taysom Hill truthers out there, he's still without a timetable to return to practice with his knee injury. Aaron Rodgers not participating in team drills in the mini camp because he's probably too old and doesn't want to get hurt. Nick Chubb says the past injuries are behind him and he's coming back stronger than ever, but I feel like that every aging running back says that too. So we'll see. And then let's get into some of the newer stuff. JJ McCarthy says surgically repaired knee feels stronger than ever. Again, this is the off season. That's what they all say. And then I saw Cam Akers signs with the Saints.
Cool.
Anthony Richardson with a shoulder injury is expected to. Do you want to guess?
Be ready for training camp.
It's expected to be fine for training camp.
Cool. All right, that was the news, man. It's June 16th. Jamie's not worried about Richardson's shoulder injury at all because he can't throw with a healthy shoulder anyway. Got him. Listen,
Jamie,
that's not wrong.
On your show on Saturday anymore.
I'm excited for this show. When's your draft, by the way? When's your Scott Fishbowl draft?
Or Sunday.
Huh?
This
Mine's
Sunday.
not till June 13th. I had no idea that you guys got a head start. July 13th.
Okay, I was going to say June 13th was 3 days ago.
Well, when is it? When's the Orlando mock? I hope it's not this weekend.
No, so Sunday should be fun because if the Pacers versus Thunder game goes to Game 7, that Game 7 is on Sunday as well. So I could be drafting at Scott Fishbowl and then very quickly turn it around and go watch Game 7. So
my draft is in July 12th, 2025, at 1 p.m. So we get a full month to watch your draft and get ADP, I guess, or get some ideas. I wonder how many more live drafts are going on because I thought everyone was starting in July. So you guys are drafting super early. Hopefully no one of your team gets injured. And if you're drafting in July or June in the Scott Fishbowl of Cincinnati, I hope you have a great draft. I'll be watching this podcast. Justin's on. Make sure you represent the brand, right? Make sure you draft some good players.
I'll be wearing my polo on Sunday. I keep saying Saturday. On Sunday.
Are you playing the outro music?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Make sure you subscribe. FantasyNowPlus.com is where you can find our Discord. Make sure you go over to Fins Talk Sports Network. Hit that subscribe button over there. Fins Talk Extra as well. We're going to have shows over there. Until next week, guys, thank you so much. We're out of here. Peace.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.